Hello there, I'm Jeanette Lane. Welcome to the CraftStash live broadcast. We have an exciting show for you today. As always, we're here every Friday at 1 p.m. streaming to both our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel, showing amazing demonstrations, new products, and of course, prizes. So today we are super excited. We have expert demonstrations, exclusive expert demonstrations from Leann Chivers of Crafter's Companion. And she's going to be sharing some Spectrum Noir coloring demonstrations and also ink demonstrations. Because I'm not sure if you're aware, but Crafter's Companion is the parent company of Spectrum Noir, and so they go hand in hand. So Leann's going to show us some gorgeous inspiration and also she shares like so many tips in these demonstrations, like you do not want to miss them. Do not blink because they are jam-packed demonstrations, and we're going to get to those right away very, very soon. But let us know where you are watching from. Tag your friends, share this broadcast so that they have a chance to not only see Leann's awesome demonstrations, but also to be able to win. So we have 3 prizes up for grabs today. 2 will be live during the broadcast, so we're going to pick and announce our winners at the end of the show, so like in an hour or so. And then we have another prize bundle to be given away on the CraftStash blog, and you can win that one up until Sunday at midnight. So we will have all the links for you in the comments, and I think Leann is going to be in the comments as well, so keep an eye out for her comments. You can ask questions and whatnot. So let me show you the prize bundles and let me tell you how to enter before we dive into Leann's demonstrations. So the first prize is the tools, the Spectrum Noir tools bundle. So during the demonstrations, Leann's going to be using a lot of the different Spectrum Noir tools. So one lucky person is going to win the bundles. It's like just a sampling of what she's using during those demos. And then the second bundle is going to be a Spectrum Noir coloring bundle. So she uses these in her demonstrations, as you'll see in just a bit. So you get these gorgeous Spectrum Noir coloring mediums. And then the third bundle is going to be the inks, Harmony inks, and the glitter inks and the metallic inks, like a sampling of those. And that's going to be the first demonstration that Leann is going to share with us. It's going to be Inks 101. She's going to show you how to get inky and share a lot of great techniques. So to enter that giveaway, all you have to do is answer the question, what's your, what coloring or inking technique would you like to improve on? Is it alcohol markers? Is it blending? Is it like working with watercolors? So what coloring or inking technique would you like to improve on and why? And that's going to enter you into the giveaway. So let me just make sure that our broadcast is going okay, that everybody can see me and hear me clearly. And then we can start the first demonstration from Leann Chivers, who we are so excited to have. She's amazing. She's so bright and sunny and cheerful, and she is just a wealth of knowledge. So do not miss out on these demos coming up. Enter the giveaway. Just answer the question that I just mentioned, and we will. Are we okay on Facebook, Shauna?
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. And there we are.
She's amazing.
Oh. Always forget about the volume. So hello to everyone watching. I'm going to be in the comments saying hello to everyone and then answering questions and whatnot. And you can enter that giveaway during the demonstration. So let's get started on the first one, Inking 101, Inks 101 from Leann Chivers.
Hello and welcome to the CraftStash page. I'm Leann Chivers from Crafter's Companion, and I feel really proud that Jeanette has welcomed me here into your Facebook group to talk to you about some of my very favourite products and to show you how they work. So what we're going to be looking at is our fabulous Harmony ink pads and how wonderful they are to blend. We're going to have a little sneaky peek at our metallic inks, and we're going to have a sneaky peek at our glitter inks, and I'm going to show you how they work and tell you why I think they're the ink pads that you really need to have in your stash if you're doing lots of background techniques and you just love colour. So what are Harmony ink pads? Harmony ink pads are a range of water-based dye blendable ink pads that I've developed for the Spectrum Noir range over a period of many months. And the unique thing about them is the formula is proprietary to Crafters Companion and Spectrum Noir. It's a formula that I developed with the chemists, and what you will get is easy, superior blendability time after time after time. Each set of ink pads, and you can see them here, all of the beautiful colours that you've got the yellows you can see in my hand, we've got pinks and purple and reds and browns and greens and blues and turquoise. Absolutely amazing sets of colours. Each one of those sets of colours come in 3 blendable shades. So you have got a light, a medium and a dark colour, which gives you that beautiful ombre effect. I want to show you how that works straight away, because it is one of the most impressive things about our Harmony ink pads. So I'm going to start with the lightest colour, and that's what you would do too. I'm using our Spectrum Noir ink tool, which is also available on your CraftStash website. You've got all of our Spectrum Noir tools there. We've got square ones, we've got round ones, we've got these amazing little eggs as well, and they're all developed to work brilliantly with the ink pads so you get the best results. So first thing, you're going to open your ink pad, get your blending tool, have a little piece of cardstock, and I always use our watercolour cardstock. I just think you get superior blending results using a water-based medium with a water-based cardstock, a cardstock that's made to receive water. You will get much better results. And if you're struggling at the moment with your techniques in terms of blended backgrounds and getting those lovely effects, it might be the cardstock that you're using. So definitely try this. So you're going to go into the lightest colour first, just angle that up properly, into the lightest colour first, and then we're going to blend straight onto the card. Now what you'll see I'm doing is not paying any real attention at all as to how I'm putting this ink on here. I'm just blending straight onto the cardstock, and it will blend on there really, really easily. So we see we're building up colour immediately. You just keep dabbing it in and rubbing it on. Now the difference here that you'll see is I'm able to be in the middle of the cardstock and blend my ink on there. What I'm not doing is saying to you, dip your blender in, start on the craft mat, start moving, build it up, build it up, build it up, take your time, come on the card, careful. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying whack it in. Whack it on your cardstock and move it round. And because of the formula that I've developed in these ink pads for the Spectrum Noir range, you're going to get beautiful, smooth, glorious, seamless colour on your cardstock without any effort at all. If you do make a little mistake and get a line in there, as you can see, previously using other types of ink pad that I've had in the past that I still own and love, that would have been a problem, because I would now have a mark on my cardstock forever and I wouldn't be able to get rid of it. What you can do with these ink pads, because of the unique formula that I've developed for Spectrum Noir with those chemists, is just polish that out. So just go back in, give it a little rub, and the line has magically gone. It really is that easy for you. So I've done that with the lightest colour, so that's colour 1 in the trio. Then we move to colour 2, which is a medium tone. So I've got my lovely lemon tonic now. Same foam pad. You can change your foam pads if you want to. If you would like to have a foam pad for every colour, then you can do that. I don't think there's any need. I think you can use one ink pad and then just keep one blending pad and just keep cleaning it, and I'll show you how to clean it too. I go into the medium tone, and now because I need to hold this card still, if my fingers are warm, if it's a warm day, what would be possible if I'm holding my card still like this is for me to pick up that colour and remove it. So what I always have is a little piece of kitchen towel. With a piece of kitchen towel I can keep my card still, and that's going to allow me now to bring in that middle colour into the middle of my cardstock. So you can see how we've got these 3 colours for a blend starting to build up to give you that lovely ombre, and how easy and how intense and beautiful is that middle colour. And you can see how I've got the light and the medium now. So then I'm going to go to my darkest colour, which I've got here. And my darkest colour, I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm picking it up with my blending tool. I'm holding it still with my kitchen towel so I don't inadvertently pick up and take away any of that ink. And then I'm using the darkest colour at the top of the cardstock here. And every one of the colour families that we've got in the Spectrum range, in this Harmony blendable ink pad range, works in the same way. So whether yellow is your favourite colour, pink, purple, turquoise, blue, leafy green, lovely bright vibrant red, oranges. Every single colour family will work in this way and give you the ability to build up beautiful light to dark ombres. Now once you've got your colour down, what you can do is still take your ink pad and to blend the line between the dark and the medium there, pick up some more of your medium and then just polish that in, just into that little line there. And you see what that does is join those two colours beautifully and give you a lovely smooth blend. And then I do the same down here. And I pick up my lightest colour now, turn it round, make sure I've still got my piece of paper to keep it still, my lightest colour, and I blend the line and diffuse that between the medium and the light where I got my ink down. And now I've got a lovely seamless smooth blend there. So using the system, the 3 different ink pads of light, medium and dark, what you're able to do is build that beautiful ombre, and every single one of the colours works in the same way. Now there are other fantastic things we can do. So get one of your stamps. I want to show you what else they do. All of the techniques, all of the things you're going to be able to do, and then you'll be able to just have a fabulous time with them at home. I'm using my Finesse ink pad and I'm going to talk to you about why that's fabulous in a moment. But just for now, let's concentrate on the harmony for the minute. I've got a little butterfly stamp here. So I'm just going to ink this up with my Finesse. So it's just a black water resistant ink pad, so it will not move with water because we are going to be adding some water techniques on here. I'm just going to stamp my butterfly in the corner for now. As you can see there, I've got a beautiful stamp of the butterfly. And what I can now do, if I like, is some full bleaching. Because the formula is unique to Spectrum Noir and Crafter's Companion, what you can now do is pick that up and take it away because you've got a long open time with this ink. So it will allow itself to be moved around and worked with a while after you've stamped it. It's a while before it dries. So it means you don't have to hurry or rush or feel nervous about getting things completed before you're ready. So if I want to do some faux bleaching, I want to take some colour out to get some lovely highlight in this butterfly, all I need to do is add some water. And this is just plain water, haven't added anything to it at all. So just paint the water on, leave it for a couple of seconds because what happens is the water sucks the ink out of the cardstock, and then blot it with my tissue. And you can see what that does is give a beautiful highlight to that butterfly and make it look like it's starting to stand out of the card. If you put more water on, and leave it for longer, so that was painting a little bit to get a very subtle highlight. If I puddle the water on here, so put more water on, and I'm just going to do it on one side so you can see the difference. If I puddle the water and leave it for a little bit longer, when I blot it away this time, you'll see my faux bleach effect is much more intense. So that's how you build an ombre and how you can faux bleach. You can also use it to do your backgrounds and your splash technique. So if I wanted, I can just splash some water at this. Just use a paintbrush or use your fingers if that's what you'd like to do. Blot it up and you've got that lovely textured background, exactly as you would expect with this kind of technique. And with our Harmony water-based ink pads, dye-based ink pads, you will not find it easier to be able to achieve this kind of technique at home if it's something you've struggled with. Very quickly, what I want to do is show you also that you can mix different colours together. So that was using them as they've been put together in a system. That was using the light, the medium and dark of one colour tone. What I'm going to do now is take the medium from pink and the medium from my turquoise, which is one of my favourite colours. So these are my 3 favourite colours. Probably shouldn't have favourites, like you shouldn't have favourites if you've got children. However, and all of my products are my children. However, in these ink pads, these are the 3 colours I go to a lot. Please don't tell anybody. It's a secret between me and you. So nobody knows, nobody's watching, it's just me and you, so nobody knows I've got favourites. Right, so what I'm going to do is just get another clean, well actually let's just keep yellow for now. I am going to have a different foam pad for every colour. So I'm dipping it into the middle colour, using my piece of kitchen towel again, just getting some of that colour on there quickly. And with the medium colour, what you can see is that I can really get a lot of colour down over a large area very quickly using the ink pad, the watercolour card and our blending tool, and how intense it is. It's beautiful. And look, no lines, just polish them out. It couldn't be more easy. The formula, please don't think for a second that these ink pads are exactly the same as any other ink pad in the marketplace. I promise you they're not. They're very different. The formula is different. It's completely unique and proprietary to these ink pads. I developed it with the chemists in the factory that we found after searching for ink pads for around, well, I've worked for Crafters Companion now for almost 10 years, and it was one of the first things I wanted to do, so I can tell you, searching for 10 years, could never find a good ink pad or a good person to do it for us. Now we have exceptional ones and a really fantastic manufacturer to support us. So you're going to be able to get the results you can see me doing here effortlessly at home. Change your foam, pop on the next one, and then we're going to pick up the pink, and we're going to put some pink down here. Now you see the pink is beautiful as well and blends lovely, but if I go over where I started with my yellow, what you'll be able to see is that I'm able to create a lovely peachy pink tone where I've gone over the yellow. So I can mix brand new colours that weren't even in my collection before by overlaying different colours, and they will blend effortlessly and beautifully for you just by overlaying them. Look how fabulous that is. You've got that lovely yellow through to an orange, through to a peachy pink, into the bright pink. And how many seconds did that take me? Not very many at all. And this is something that you can be confident you can achieve very, very easily at home. So just putting on the pink there, and then I'm going to take the pink off, get my clean sponge ready to go into my turquoise. I'm going to do that in this corner here. So build in the turquoise, and you see I'm just dabbing it in. The technique does not change. Dab it in, wrap it onto your card. Don't worry about coming in from the side, keeping your sponge parallel, building up the speed, building up the speed. None of that needs to happen. You can just literally pick up the ink, pop it on, and it's going to work beautifully. And what I've got here, where I've overlaid onto my layer of pink, I've got that beautiful purple colour going into the turquoise, which is the true colour, the colour I'm using. And then as I move up here into the middle, I'll get an overlap of that lovely purple. I'll get a more muted olive colour where I go over the peach. And then I'll get that lovely green where the turquoise is coming over the top of the yellow. And how easy, effortless and quick was that? And you can get beautiful backgrounds by mixing and overlaying all of your colours if that's what you want to do. And the techniques that we used for this one all work in the same way. So if we want to stamp on it in faux bleach, we can. If we just want to do some technique and sprinkle some ink on it, we can. If we wanted to use our spritzer for more of a fine mist to pick that up, we can do that. Blot it away, and you see you've got that wonderful background that we were very quick and easy to create. And you can stamp on it and do whatever you want with it. You've seen how easy they are. That is what Harmony water-based ink pads are all about. The other thing you can do is just use them as a colouring medium. So I've got my fabulous butterfly here. I'm going to ink this up with my Finesse ink pad. If you haven't got Finesse waterproof ink pads in your collection, why not? Get along to your website and get them. They are fantastic. I just want to show you how fantastic. So I'm stamping it onto a piece of watercolour cardstock, and I'm pouring a puddle of water on immediately. I'm not doing any, I haven't dried it, I haven't heat set it, I haven't wafted it, I haven't left it for 40 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 hours to dry. I've literally poured a pool of water on there. If I now pick that water up and show you my kitchen towel, you can see that none of that ink has smudged or moved. You've just got a beautiful, fine, gorgeous line which has not blurred, has not moved, has not smudged, and has not transferred any of that black ink onto my kitchen towel. So Finesse waterproof ink pads, which are on your website, are absolutely the very best thing for watercolour techniques. Now, to paint with them, what I like to do is just put a little bit of ink onto my craft mat. It can be a glass mat, it can be one of these Spectrum Noir heat resistant mats, or a heat resistant mat you've got at home. Could be a ceramic tile, a saucer, anything that's non-porous basically, whatever you've got at home that's non-porous. So I've popped all three colours down. I've then got a little paint brush, and what I would do is just pick up the colour and paint. Now that could not be more easy, could it? And you'll see by me doing this one little dip of colour how vibrant that is and what a long way it goes. I can then clean my brush, pick up a little bit of another colour, so I'm going with the yellow now, overlay it, go into the blue where I get green, so I get that beautiful iridescence and ombre coming from the butterfly wing. That's truly beautiful. Clean my brush, pick up a little bit of the pink, do the same thing, bring the pink in, and then I've got that beautiful mixing of colours and that beautiful iridescence, so I can use these as a regular paint now if that's what I want to do, and it could not be more easy. So these give you the ability to paint, to create an ombre effortlessly, to do all of your fall bleaching techniques. And the other thing you can do with these is stamp. So if I take my butterfly again, just ink this up with a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the pink. So they work as regular stamp pads too. A little bit of the yellow here at the bottom. And then just get a quick other piece of watercolour cardstock on there. Quick huff. Stamp it down. Beautiful fine line from those Harmony ink pads. Absolutely glorious. And then what I can do is just with a very damp brush, dab that and drag the colour out to get that lovely painterly watercolour effect. This works fantastically with a beautiful floral. That's how easy that is. If you want to do something really artistic, get your spritzer, spray it, and you'll get that ink explosion, and that will travel all over your card. So really quickly in the last very few minutes, we've looked at the fact that we can do those beautiful ombres. We can blend different colours together if that's what we want to do. We can faux bleach. We can paint with them. We can stamp with them. The possibilities are endless. And Crafters Companion have lots of lives, pre-recorded, very in-depth long tutorials with me that you could go along and have a look at and then pop back to CraftStash and get all of your fabulous product that they've got there for you from the Spectrum Noir range. Really, they are fabulous, and there's lots of in-depth tutorials. I just want to show you some inspiration with those very quickly. So if we have a quick look here at some of the different things you can do, this is just that ombre background that I was showing you earlier, but using the darker tones of ink. Here we've created a beautiful background and painted the floral to match. Here we've used them in a really distressed way. This is just using them as a paint and then doing a lovely background. Through a stencil with those lovely ombres, more bright backgrounds with some faux bleaching and some silhouette stamping. Painting with a white embossed outline, just using them as a background and doing a full image stamp over there, using them with really detailed stamps to create that moody look if that's what you want to do, something in monotone with the three colours as they're developed, and just a beautiful paint result and a little bit of the artistic stamping that you've just seen me do there. So they're the sorts of things you can do with our Harmony ink pads. And they are exceptional. You really need those. Now, a couple of other fantastic products in the Spectrum range are our, I feel like I need to sing when I say it, are our amazing sparkle inks. They are off the chart amazing. You might have had our sparkle markers before, but they are now in a pot. Oh my word, they're in a jar. You have got 4 times as much ink in these jars as you have in a pen, and the things you can do with these are truly amazing. Look how fabulous that tower of product looks. This is when I definitely need to be going, la, look how fabulous. And they really do look amazing. Let me show you what one of the jars is like. I've got a little packet open here so I can show you. When you get the jar home, you need to give it a good shake, because you can see here all of the glitter settles into the bottom of the jar. And then what you're going to do, if you listen, I'm going to give it a little shake. Can you hear? I'm going to shake it up here. Can you hear that? That's the little ball bearings inside. So you give it a good shake, give it a good mix up. That mixes all of the microfine glitter into that beautiful water-based dye we've got in there, and then you've got the most intense, most sparkly, absolutely glorious paint for all of your techniques. Now for this one, I have got a ridiculous amount of lives, and you can see those on the Crafters Companion page, and then watch them and appreciate how amazing these are and how versatile, and then come back to CraftStash, get your sparkle links from them, because I know they've got them there and they are amazing. Once you've shook it up, all of your glitter goes, and you've got it all mixed in there. It's ready to use. Now, I'm on limited time, so I want to show you some of the fabulous results here, so you can see what you're going to be able to achieve with these when you get them home. We've got beautiful, artistic, splashed, amazing background, stamping, spritzing, getting that lovely artistic effect. If I bring this in and wiggle it at you, look at the amazing glitter effect in there. That's what you're going to be able to achieve with your backgrounds, painting these on with these truly fabulous sparkle inks, and the possibilities are endless. Do your backgrounds, mix new colours, paint your images with them, put them in a spritzer, dilute them, make your own glitter ink spritzers. Use the white, the clear. My top tip for you, get the clear one, get 2 packets. Because you can use that with your Harmony ink pads, with your aqua blend pencils, with your aqua markers, with any other product that you've got at home, and every single one of them is going to have this amazing, intense, glittery shimmer. And just to show you that, look at these. These are the colour charts, so you can see the colours, and look how fabulous that glitter effect is on there. Really, it's amazing, and these are the techniques. So you've got regular ombre, you've got stamping over the top, you've got that beautiful mixing of colour, and every single one of them has that really intense glitter sparkle effect on it. Paint with them. Possibilities endless, and work hand in hand with your beautiful Harmony ink pads. You can use them through stencils over gesso. Most important thing for you to see right now is that. Look at that intense glitter, shine and sheen that you've got on there. It truly is amazing. So there are our glitter inks in a pot. Go and watch my tutorials. There are loads of them. And as you probably realised, I like to talk. It's really hard for me to do things in a few minutes because there's so much I want to tell you about our amazing product. On the other educational Facebook presentations that I've done, I take a lot longer, and some of them are nearly 2 hours long. But what it does do is absolutely show you and teach you exactly how to get the best of the product. So if this has whet your appetite, go along and watch that. Come back to CraftStash, and I'm sure that you'll want to get those inks because they are off the chart fantastic, and they work brilliantly with the Harmony ink pads that we've been looking at. Similarly, we've got the same with our metallic inks in a jar. Truly brilliant. All of the things that I've just told you are fantastic about the sparkle inks you can do, but now you can do with that beautiful brushed aluminium metallic shine. So they work in exactly the same way as I've just explained to you for the sparkle inks, but you get a different effect. Instead of the intense glitter, you get this wonderful brushed metallic effect. And because they're a pigment and they've got liquid metal in there, they paint on la 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 acetate, non-porous surfaces. So onto your glass, onto your ceramic tiles, onto your home decor, your vases at home, onto acetate for stained window cards, which are hugely trendy at the moment. And then you can do all of your painting and your techniques with them too. So that is our metallic inks, and our sparkle inks work in the same way, 2 different effects: beautiful glitter, beautiful brushed metallic effect, and of course our fabulous Harmony ink pads and finesse. If you're using your Harmony, you need that. So it's been a whirlwind. I've had a fabulous time over here on the CraftStash page. Thank you for really inviting me in here. Thank you to Jeanette. I feel very privileged that CraftStash wanted me to come and tell you all about our fabulous Spectrum Noir product. I've had a great time. You've probably realised I like to talk, so go and watch all of those other educational pieces. Get these in your stash. You won't regret it for a second. Have a wonderful day, whatever you do, and I've had a fab time, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.
Isn't Leann amazing? Oh my goodness, a crafty wealth of knowledge. And just wanted to recap just a little bit before we move on to the next demonstration from Leann, which is going to be a coloring overview on different mediums that you can use to color your stamps and whatnot. But enter that giveaway. So there are 3 prizes up for grabs, and I don't think I mentioned this, but it's a 150 prize, a 150 pound value prize. Yes. Did I say that right? I don't think I did. Anyway, enter that giveaway. Just answer the question, what coloring or inking technique would you like to improve on and why? And we have, again, like I mentioned, 3 prize bundles up for grabs. And yeah, tag and share. Also, don't forget to tag and share this broadcast with your friends so that they can catch the replay and also enter that giveaway on the CraftStash blog, which is open all weekend long. Sunday at midnight, that giveaway ends and you can win this coloring bundle here, which is next to me, which you can't really see, but it's there, trust me. All right, so let's go on to the next demonstration from Leann. Hooray! And she's also in the comments answering your questions, which is really exciting. Thank you so much, Leann, for being with us.
Hello, I'm Leann from Crafter's Companion, and I'm here on your CraftStash page by the very generous invite of Jeanette to talk to you all about our fabulous Illustrator markers, to have a little look at our aqua blend pencils, and to give you a little bit of a hint and tip on our amazing tri-blend markers. So we're going to spend about 20 minutes just looking at these fabulous products and me being able to tell you how they work and how amazing they are and how you're going to get the best out of them when you get them home. So what is an Illustrator marker? Our Illustrator markers are our premium colouring marker for all of the alcohol type techniques that you've seen out there. So for beautiful, diffused, smooth, blended, amazing coloured results, Illustrator marker is going to be perfect for you. Why? Well, it's a double-ended marker. You can see them here in my fabulous storage. So I'm just going to move them to one side for a second so I can still colour. It's a beautiful double-ended marker. It's got a brush nib and it's got a fine tip, and you can see that that's indicated there by the image of a little brush nib and the image of the fine tip. Why is that important? To get beautiful, soft, diffused results, you really need a superior quality brush nib to get the beautiful, soft lay down of ink that you need in your cardstock, and then those lovely little detailed flicks in hair and in fur and in all of those other different things. Excuse me. It's going to be more obvious for you when you see me colouring. You'll see that in a second. On the other end, we've got this amazing detailed fine bullet tip. Really, really fine, which allows you to get into all of those tiny little details in your colouring and your stamps, which would have been very difficult to achieve in the past because the bullet nib's just been too bulky, too big, too unwieldy, or because the brush tip just can't get into those tiny details. Both of these nibs are from Japan, so they are the superior quality Japanese nib that you would expect in an alcohol marker, and this is our premium marker, which gives you that beautiful quality that you want with a brush nibbed alcohol colouring pen. So how do you use them? It's really easy, and the first thing I want to show you is why our brush nib is fantastic. So I'll just use this one that I've got here. You can see that the brush nib is amazing there, and then what I'm going to do is flick. So I'm going to put my marker down on the page and then using my wrist flick in that way. So I'm going to flick up, and what you see is you get a beautiful tapered effect on that, which allows you to get all of that beautiful soft blend and texture in your colouring. You can go with tiny little flicks, or you can go with really big beautiful flicks. It just depends on what you're colouring in, and they taper off to the end beautifully. That is the testament of an exceptional brush nib alcohol marker. That's what you want to be able to see. And of course, it allows you just to get beautiful soft colour down really quickly and easily. On the other end, you've got this amazing fine nib, which I've just been telling you about, so you can get into tiny little details, and you can do your little detailed texture flicks with that nib as well. So really, really easy to use, and the two things that you need on a really good brush nibbed alcohol marker is an exceptional nib to allow you to do that kind of thing. This is on our alcohol marker pad, so you can see here, and I'm sure that you've got this on CraftStash too. This is definitely the best cardstock for getting superior results when you're colouring with your alcohol markers. And my top tip for you always is, when you're colouring something, always colour onto a piece of waste cardstock. So never colour directly onto a craft mat, an unporous surface, a glass mat, onto your tabletop, onto a tray. You always have to have something porous underneath. The reason for that is when you start to colour, and you'll see in a second when I do this beautiful lady's face, that you need the ink to move through the fibres of the card. So if we start doing her face, and then we're going to do her hair, so you can see the two different techniques you can get with a brush marker. I'm going to start with my cream, my dusty pink and my linen markers. And actually, just before I do that, let me tell you the different sets that are available. You've got all of these sets available to you, and there is a set you can see there in the 6s specifically for portrait, and they're the colours that I'm using now. So you've got pens which are specifically to help you do all of the more difficult skin tones, and then you've got all of those other beautiful colours in there for all of the different things that you're selling, and you've also got your 12 sets of markers. So you've got all of your tints, your tones, your shades, and your pens that work together for a 3-colour blend. Very easy for you to achieve all of the alcohol marker effects you'd want to achieve with these. You've got your 12 sets and you've got your 6 sets, and I'm using the portrait collection at the moment to do this lady's face. So I've taken my 3 markers, and I'm going to start with the lightest marker first with my brush nib. So I'm going with my cream, I think it is. Yes. So I've got my cream, I've got my brush nib, and I'm just going to get my colour down. Oh, I think my linen might be my lightest. 1 second. Let me just check that. Nope, I was right in the first place. So I've got my cream marker, and I'm just laying down that ink. Now you will be able to get a really good flooding of ink onto your cardstock really quickly with this brush marker, so you can get superior blending, because wet ink blends better than dry ink, and to have the superior blending you really need your ink to be wet when you're putting it down on the cardstock. I'm taking a lighter pen here, so this is the cream marker, and all I'm doing is blending out that first layer around the shadow of her face into the centre of her face, to start and build up that beautiful depth and dimension that I want when I'm colouring a face. So you can see I've got the transition of the 2 colours. Always leave the centre of the face a little more lighter, preserve your highlight there, because it will be darker around the edges and under her hair where it will be in shade. The face, the part of the face which is furthest forward, which is the nose and the mouth, will be at the lightest, because that will catch the most light. So I've got my light layer down there, preserving my highlight in the centre. Then I'm going to take my darker shade, and I'm just going to build up some of that. I'm going to contour her, build up some of that dimension around the outside. This could not be more simple. Notice how I just popped that on there. Then I take that medium tone again, and I just dab that to diffuse the line. I've got that beautiful dimension building up in there. Take the lightest colour. That wasn't the lightest colour, that was nearly scary. Where's it? Here it is. Take the lightest colour, and then dab that in when you've preserved your highlight, and you've got that beautiful dimension on her face really quickly and easily. The superior brush nib allows you to do that. What I'm going to do is just turn that over now, because what you can see, this is what I was talking about in terms of the right cardstock for the job. You need the ink to come through the cardstock, moving the fibres of the card, so the card should not be too porous, it cannot be coated, it should be very smooth, and it should take the ink really well. Our marker card, Spectrum Noir marker card, is the perfect cardstock to get superior blending and results when using them, not just with our alcohol markers, with any alcohol markers that you've got at home. So there's the face. Now we're going to do her cheeks. So I've got a peach pen here, and then what I'm going to do is just chisel in from the outside in a triangular shape to get her cheeks in. Never do a little circle. And then just to smooth that blend, I take the lightest colour again, dab around the outside, gets the ink to blend, and I've got a lovely cheek. I didn't go all over it, just went around the outside, and I'm starting to build up that beautiful face on this lady, and you've got that amazing dimension in there. We're going to do her some lips now, so I'm going to take 2 different pinks, and then to do her lips, because they're in a smaller area, I'm using the tiny bullet point on my pen. So I'm taking the darker colour into the sides of her lips, because I'm going to accentuate her cupid's bow, so it looks like the light is catching on there. So you see, with my tiny little bullet nib I was able to do that. With my tiny little bullet nib here on my lighter pink, I'm able to then blend those 2 together, and I get that lovely transition and that lovely shade between the dark and the light. If I would like it to be a little darker, it's not quite dark enough, I can take one of my grey pens and overlay that colour. So I can go in with a little bit of the darker grey just in the corners. Don't worry about the fact that it's grey, because we're going to change that in a second. Just to give a little bit more shade on her mouth there for that lipstick. Go back to your darker pink again, back over the top. And you see how that now looks pink, but it's got more shade on it. The front of her mouth, the cupid's bow of her mouth is popping out more. So you're able to then overlay colours, use different colours, blend them to get all of that beautiful depth and dimension. For her hair, The brush nib really comes into its own when you're using it to flick. And this is when a brush nib is fantastic. So I want natural movement and flowing in her hair. So I've got 2 browns, I've got my brush nib, and these are from the portrait collection too. And then using that technique that I showed you earlier with the wrist movement, I'm just flicking the ink onto her hair and I'm following the natural flow. Now this is very quick and down and dirty, this demonstration for you, because actually alcohol colouring is one of the longest method of colouring. So it's one of the most therapeutic. It's what you would sit down and spend a couple of hours doing when you want to get a really lovely result. And when you want to just, you know, sit and relax and do some colouring and be pleased and proud with what you've done. It's not something that you can demonstrate in a couple of minutes. But I think what you're able to see here, by using just the pens in the portrait collection, I've done her skin, and I'm doing her hair with that brush nib, and just by flicking the colour on, I'm getting the most amazing movement in there. So actually, if you've been scared of alcohol colouring before, don't be without Illustrator markers, because look what I'm building up and achieving in a matter of moments, and I'm not being very pedantic about it or overly artistic or really worrying about what I'm doing. I just know that the marker, the quality of the ink and the brush nib that we've got, using that flicking technique that I showed you, is getting all of that beautiful movement into her hair for me, and it's looking gorgeous. So this is the cream, and I'm using colours which are similar to the colours that I used when I did her skin tone, because, you know, in real life, us people, our skin tone usually matches our hair tone. And so it just makes it look a little bit more realistic. And I'm just using 3 colours, always a dark, a medium and a light in the same tone, which when you overlay them, which is what I've done here, just, oh, wrong nib, just allows you to build up all of that beautiful, natural, dark and light, light and shade and movement in her hair. And how beautiful is that starting to look? It's starting to come together really well, and you can see the lovely light in her hair. You can see that depth and dimension. Her skin looks beautifully soft and diffused and coloured, and it took me seconds. You could just build that up and build it up. When you're finished, this is the sort of thing you're going to have as you start to build it up. You can see how beautiful she is there. She's truly gorgeous, and there are so many other things you can do. So that's the basic technique of using an Illustrator marker in all of those fabulous different colour collections that we've seen, our 12 sets and our 6 sets. Actually, I think I want to show you one more thing with illustrators that'll help you. So that's skin and hair. Probably the 2 most difficult things that you find a challenge. Get our portrait set. It's not a challenge anymore. If you want to build some volumes, I'm going to go back to this side. Let's have a look at our little bunny, because there's a couple of little different things you can do here too. So I'm going to use the same 3 colours that I've just used for her hair and colour the plant pot, and show you why having a brush nib really does help the process along. So I've got the plant pot there, and now I want to build some cylindrical volume. I've done her skin and I've sculptured her. I've also done her hair with little flicks. Now to build cylindrical volume, what I need to do is with my brush nib, flick from the side of the pot into the centre of the pot, and I'm just getting ink down. So cylindrical volume means doing something that looks rounded. Then I'm going to take my darkest colour, and I'm flicking in from the side, little flicks into the centre. Okay, and then I'm going to take my medium colour, and I'm going to go over the dark, across into the first layer of light that I put down, which will start to blend using my brush nib. You won't go over the edges like me, because I'm trying to do it super speedy for you. It will start to blend those 3 colours in together. So you're starting to build up that lovely texture on there. I'm just going to turn that round and show you on the other side. So you work on 2 separate sides, preserve your highlight in the centre. Then you're going to do exactly the same. You're coming into the middle to meet, but you're not going right into the middle. Leave that white area in the middle, preserving your highlight. Then I'm going to take my darkest colour again, and I'm going to do little flicks from the side into the centre, over the top of that lightest colour I've just put down. Because remember what I said earlier, wet ink blends more easily than wet card. Wet ink blends more easily than dry card where ink has dried. Then I'm going with my middle colour over the brown, the darkest I've put on, into that first layer of the light, flicking towards the centre. There we go, that starts to blend them together. You can see it's starting to build. And then I take my lightest colour again, and now what I do is I join that together in the centre. And what this will allow me to start doing is building up that beautiful cylindrical volume, so it looks like the plant pot has some shine and has some depth and dimension on there. So you can use it for your skin, for your hair, for your volume, for your cylindrical objects. If you want to do your little bunny, you can absolutely do your little bunny with the flicks, and we're going to have a look at doing him in two different ways. So let's have him in, let's go blue greys. Let's have him a little bluey coloured bunny. So we can use our brush nib and colour him in with the little flicks as we've been looking at. So you can see you do your little flicks. That's the lighter one, and then you take your darker one, little flicks over the top of there, and I need another lighter one because I don't want him to be too light. And because he's bluey, I think I might be able to use this lavender colour. It's a little bit too pink. So you see, actually what you can do is mix and match lots of different colours. You don't have to stick in one particular way. And then I can go with this colour for the base of his fur over the two bits of grey that I've just put on there, and I'm starting to build up beautiful texture on that bunny by just overlaying the colours with the little flicks, and then that looks like his fur. That could not be easier, and you just keep building up the layers until you're happy. Using the flicking motion that I showed you earlier, which is anchoring your wrist on the table and flicking your fingers. That's how you're going to get the best result. And then just overlay them, and that starts to build that texture in there. He starts to come together lovely. If you don't want to do that, you can do it with lots of little dots. So we could just put a layer of the ink down with the brush tip. Let's do his ears and this side of his face. He's going to look a bit odd because he's going to have two different types of fur, but it lets me show you the different results. And then I'm going to take my fine bullet tip from the two pens. I'm going with the medium one now. And what I can do over the wet ink is just dot in some texture for his fur. And because I'm putting that on top of wet ink, that will all start to blend and diffuse together. And then if I do the darkest one and I just go, oh, wrong nib, I just go into the side here, I can start to build up my depth and dimension just at the very perimeter with those little dots for the bunny fur. And then finally I take the first colour, the lightest colour, with my brush nib this time, and I give it a swipe over. And by swiping it over, what it does is start to blend all of those inks. It diffuses the dots so they don't look too dotty, and it just gives that impression of texture for that little character fur. So you can use the two nibs in both of those ways. You can build your cylindrical volume, you can do your beautiful skin and hair if that's what you'd like to do, and you've got all of those beautiful colours. Don't forget, I'll just show you again quickly, which are in our fabulous 6 sets and the 12 sets, all available on the CraftStash website for you. And you're going to be able to use them to colour all of the things that all of the stamps that you've got at home. Every stamp that you possess is crying out to be coloured with a alcohol marker. Now I've got here some samples that I want to show you of where those techniques that I've just been demonstrating have been used to colour some of the most amazing examples. Look at this little bunny here, truly gorgeous with that illustrator marker. Look at the movement, the depth and dimension in her clothes, in her hair for those little characters. Just beautiful soft coloured results for your florals. Beautiful soft no line colouring. This looks like a printed, professionally produced topper, all done with your alcohol markers. You can colour in your die cuts and get depth and dimension. You can do your real statement images, get all of that beautiful movement in there. You can go with your florals and your beautiful birds if that's what you want to do. Use your cute characters, do your landscapes, go a little bit more grungy if that's what you want to do with your darker colours. You can go really light and soft. You can do your little teddy bears. You can just do some lovely florals. The possibilities with alcohol markers are truly endless. You don't have to be very skilled, but you do have to have a little bit of time because it does take more time than watercolouring. However, it's probably one of the most therapeutic things you could do to sit down with just a lovely selection of alcohol markers, a couple of stamps, and have a really nice time colouring in some stuff. Right, so what else have I got to show you? Well, I just want to show you very quickly our Aqua Blend pencils, because these are fabulous, and the difference in result you get from a watercoloured image to a alcohol coloured image is very different, and of course you colour in two very different ways. That was just using the markers. These are our Aqua Blend pencils, and they are superior because it's the highest quality pigment we can possibly find with a dissolvable binder. What you do not get in our pencils is any filler, any chalk, any dust from the floor, any poor grade pigment, any horrible stuff to fill it up and make it cheap. We put pure pigment and dissolvable binder only in our pencil, so you can be confident that you're going to get amazing results time and again. Now, if you use your pencils a lot, see, I really like this colour. These are my pencils and I've used this one quite a bit. I want to show you how to sharpen it properly, just very quickly. So if I just take this one, which doesn't have a nib, I've obviously used it a lot, then take your pencil sharpener, we've got them in Spectrum Noir, hold your pencil still, turn your sharpener. Do not ever, see how I've got Spectrum Aqua Blend facing me there, that's not moving, but my sharpener is. It's really important when you're sharpening your pencils that you do that. You keep the pencil still, turn your sharpener, oh, just going to make a mess of my mat, and then you're going to have a beautifully sharpened pencil. That's really important. If you turn the pencil, you break the core of the pencil all the way down, because you turn the core and the wood at two different angles. So keep your pencil still, turn your sharpener, and that's how you'll get a beautifully sharpened pencil and how you'll preserve the pencil all the way down. Let's sweep that out of the way. So to do your watercolouring with them, and we've got 4 tins of these, and the colours in them are all amazing. You've got your essential set. Let me just show you quickly. You've got essentials, you've got you've got your primaries, you've got the ones that I'm about to use, and you've got your floral set. So really lovely colours. These are your naturals that I've got as well. Really lovely colours, really easy to use. So I'm going to take my floral collection that I've got here. Just pick 1 or 2 of the colours. Let's go with the purple, because I like a little bit of purple in my life. I'm going to get my paintbrush, and I've got my water. Super speedy. How do you use an aqua pencil? Very easy indeed. Colour it onto your watercolour cardstock, onto your stamped image. Put a little bit of pencil on there. Dip it into some water. Take most of the water off so you've got a damp brush, not a wet brush, and then just drag that colour out. Could not be more simple. And you can do that with all of the colours in this set, and you'll just get beautiful, diffused, gorgeous, highly pigmented, buttery soft, professional looking watercolour results by doing that. Could not be more simple. And the effect, the result that you get, the look that you get is very different to an alcohol marker, which you can see here. That's what's happened with that butterfly as I've just taken my time and coloured it in. And then if I just reach over here, I've got a couple more samples to show you, which are here. And you can see how beautiful and soft and gorgeous and artistic and painterly they look by just scribbling the pencil on and dragging it out with a water brush. I mean, really, if you're brand new to colouring, this is what you need to start with, your Aqua Blend pencils, because all of these things can be achieved by doing exactly what I just did on that butterfly. Scribble it on, drag it out, looks amazing. Could not be more simple for you. Okay, so that's Aqua Blend pencils. What you can be confident of is that they're superior quality, 100% the finest grade pigment that's available in the art market, and water dissolvable binder, no fillers, no nasty stuff. Finally, our tri-blend markers. These are one of the things that I am absolutely adoring. Really quite a new addition to the Spectrum range, only launched was it early this year or later last year? I can't remember. The month was so busy, just float into one. It's earlier this year. I think it was only March. They're very, very new. And with our tri-blend markers, I'm going to open one up. When you get them, they'll all be sealed beautifully. You're going to open it up, and what you've got in a tri-blend marker is 3 alcohol markers in one. So you've got your beautiful colours. So there are 24 markers in total in the range currently, but 24 markers gives you 72 colours. So what you've got is the light, the medium, and the dark colour all on one marker. If I do that, you can see one marker, 3 different nibs, the light, the medium and the dark. Remember when I was colouring with the Illustrator markers earlier, I was saying you need 3 colours for a blend and then you'll build it all up. It'll be very soft and beautiful. I used 3 colours for her hair that you can see there, and I used 3 colours for her skin that you can see there. With our tri-blend markers, all 3 of those colours come in one pen, so you don't have to worry about working out which colours go together like I was doing here. If you're brand new, get the tri-blend markers because all of the colour combinations have been worked out for you. Pick up one pen, colour it in, it looks amazing. And these are the sorts of things you can achieve with our tri-blend markers effortlessly at home. And you can see we've got some cute, we've got some quirky, we've got some pastel, we've got some background, we've got some vintage, we've got butterflies, we've got people, we've got amazing cupcakes, we've got fantastic colour ombres. Possibilities are amazing with those tri-blends. And again, as I said earlier, I believe to you, lots of tutorials for our colouring products on the Crafters Companion page where I've done lives and I teach you all about the product. It's all education on there. Go along and have a look. If I've whet your appetite with these amazing products, see what they can do. Watch all of those fabulous tutorials, then come on back to CraftStash and get them in your stash at home because they are amazing and you will have a fabulous time with them. I've been Leann Chivers from Crafters Companion. If you haven't met me before, very privileged to have been here with you on the CraftStash Facebook page. Thank you to Jeanette for inviting me along. I'd love to come back again if you'll have me. Have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing, and really enjoy your colouring.
I cannot thank Leann enough for all of those awesome demonstrations. I learned so much, and I know that you guys learned a bunch of stuff too. I was in the comments on YouTube and on Facebook, and you guys were loving the demonstration. So thank you so much, Leann, for those. We are all like inspired to do some coloring this weekend. So we are ready to announce our winners. Fingers crossed, everybody cross everything. So our first prize is going to be a little tools, Spectrum Noir tools bundle. So we have the Spectrum Noir craft mat, and then we have some little blending tools that Leann used during the demonstrations, those little blenders, some little spritz bottles, spray misters, some of the blending tools that she used also in the demonstration, and a stamping platform from Crafters Companion. So a great prize. We are so excited, and let's see who the winner is for that. Charlie P. So she said, I would like to improve on my blending so that I can create better backgrounds on my cards. Congratulations, Charlie. You can send me an email or send us a private message on Facebook. And the email is jeanette@craftstash.co.uk. Send us a message with your mailing information so we can get that out to you. And before I announce the second winner, I wanted to remind you that there is an additional giveaway on the CraftStash blog. Don't miss that one. That one's running until Sunday at midnight. And for that one, you are going to get a coloring bundle. So you're going to get a set of the Illustrator pens that Leann used, a set of the Aqua Blends, which she used as well, and 4 tri-blend markers. So that is an awesome prize that's available on the CraftStash blog all weekend long. So make sure to tag and share the replay, the Facebook replay, so that your friends can enter and that you can enter too. Look at that, that's up for grabs on the blog, CraftStash blog, until Sunday at midnight. So don't miss that one. Now the second winner is going to win, the second on-air winner is going to get a set of the Harmony inks, which you saw Leann use, and also a set of the metallic inks and the glitter inks. So just an inky bundle. And the winner for that is, drumroll, Sharon Hudson. The technique that she would like to improve on is using embossing powders with stamping because she would like to get a clean and clear image when using them. So perhaps she needs to try some Spectrum Noir ink pads. Yay, hooray, congratulations to all of the winners. Thank you so much for watching, and again, special thanks to Leann Chivers for joining us and doing all those demonstrations. We will be back next Friday at 1 p.m. for more products, prices, and demonstrations. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.